right, reality check. Man, wow. Haven't done that one in like forever. I find myself pulling out drills that I haven't touched in a while because I am testing, I'm working with a gun that I've not worked with for years. I've not worked with my Glock 17 for a very long time. I will get to this eventually. I will tell you why this has come out eventually. Right now, I'm just working to get back up to speed. Okay, the reason for that drill, I figured I would roll that into the video that I have for you guys for today. The notation that I made for this one is actually kind of long. The reason you train is so that when you get into a real fight, the only thing you have to keep track of is should you or should you not pull the trigger. And then the extra notation was talk about all the footwork and the different things that are required to keep track of. The other day I had a student out here, and just out of thin air, I actually pulled 10 things out of thin air that I basically was able to say to him, look, the reason you do this, the reason when you come to train with me, like immediately right out of the gate, I've got you moving. Once I got you guys doing the basics of understanding the shooting stance, which is a very aggressive stance. I don't care if your legs are like this, or if your legs are like this, or if your legs are like this. It doesn't matter. As long as you're balanced and ready to move, boom, we're good. We're ready to move on. And once I observe that the student can cleanly get their firearm out of their holster, responsibly handle that firearm, return the weapon back to the holster. Once I do very basic things for safety, I move right into the movement drills because I have you for a very limited amount of time. And I'm always telling people, in a gunfight, in a fight, I've been in plenty of fights. I've even been in gunfights as a cop, but I didn't allow them to turn into firefights. Because I was so very aggressive. I got in trouble as a cop because I tended to go to guns very, very fast. I issued commands, and if those commands weren't followed, shut up. If those commands weren't followed, I immediately, oh, you know what? I forgot to check my time. I'll check it later. I immediately jumped on the person, meaning I immediately went to a gun. I am that guy. Always have been, always will be. I'm never going to change. I prefer to dominate the gunfight instead before it turns into a firefight. So anyways, I basically say to people, if you have practiced all of the footwork that is required, all of the handwork that is required, if you've done all the things that are required to learn how to survive a gunfight, a firefight, when the moment actually comes, the only thing you have to then keep track of is, do I actually pull that trigger? Remember guys, that small little moment in time where you decide to pull the trigger or not pull the trigger determines that person's life, whether they keep it or lose it, and whether you destroy your life. Whether you get to keep your life, because if it's a firefight, whether you get to keep your life, or whether you end up shooting someone and you end up destroying your life. Because remember, if you get into an armed altercation and you loose rounds on someone, that has major legal ramifications to it. That's a conversation for a whole nother day. Remember guys, everything I do at Tier 1 Citizen is to help you realize your potential.